I made earlier this month, January. It was a nice day of January and the weather had broken, following a long period of warm days and nights. And as I lift my eyes from the page where I was writing, making these notes, the wind-driven rain pours down from the east, and wind-tossed branches wave in a dance of ever-changing rhythms, moving in harmony with the gusts and flicking the droplets of water in all directions. And the raindrops join on the ground and soon flow in unison down the garden slopes, creating a sound of their own. And the last of the pahutakawa blossoms is blasted, and our guardian Tui hops around the wind-shredded flower heads, seeking the last of the nectar. Tui has claimed for his own a territory that completely surrounds the house, flying constantly on point duty to each of the high branches of the trees that form the outer rim of his commandery. He challenges all comers with his chosen melody that echoes around us from dawn to well after dusk. His mantra has been freely shared for the past weeks and has inspired us all with the dedication he applies to his chosen role. His message is one of a singular life spent in a daily salute, acknowledging his place in the grand scheme of a primal duty fulfilled with a heart full of song and a zest for life. And in the dark of night, we are joined by Mopo, Gururu, who shows a deep interest in the flying insects of the night, who are drawn to the window lights. Mopo glides in a powerful but completely silent circle, plucking choice morsels from the air. He perches on occasions on the back of a chair and looks at us long and hard through owl eyes. Wide and deep the eyes say it all. We all have our roles to play, our individual journeys to make, and yet we find it hard to accept that this tiny owl is part of the creation and is directly linked to us through the same spirit that prevails within all life on this earth. The owl and I live and breathe within the same energy fields that surround all creatures. And in saying this, I must also include every stone and every drop of water, every mountain and every ocean. We live in a continuous field, an energetic influence, and it is through this that we can make these natural connections. The past weeks have provided rest and solitude after a busy time to replenish, a time to prepare for the journeys to be taken this year, the talks to be given. There is much still to explore and many places to visit in the ongoing search for more complete history of who we are and why we are and where we are. This year we'll see a return to many, many places that I have visited before, to sacred places, stone walls, hidden caves, rock carvings, carved basins, all beckon and await the light of day, clamouring for my attention, clamouring for me to write about them and talk about them. Over time, I've made many, many visits to the birthplace of the gods at Castle Hill in the South Island, and am always completely amazed at the revelations within these unique rock structures. At certain times of the day, silhouettes within the rocks take on a different feature as light and shadow comes into play. A statement is made. Look at my face and ponder on my message. Profiles of animals and humans and birds appear, fish appear, the whale is there, all commanding that you stop and wonder and then ponder on whether this incredible work is actually of nature or of man. With either choice, you are still looking at a subtle message. Perhaps the planet energy has something to say, and your personal interpretation is very important as you acknowledge the feature. Now, whether natural or man-made, a purpose has been met. You have been placed in a situation that may challenge your preconceptions of what is archaic rock art, or carvings. Does every ancient work have to be small enough to hold in your hand? An ancient work may be on such a giant scale as to defy any logical modern explanation. You yourself may even be heard or hard placed to fathom the size and the purpose. And the most common large-scale objects I have seen are the turatara, the keepers of the wisdom. These features defy common belief that the early comers to this land did not work stone on such a large scale. The best known are near the mouth of the Grey River in the South Island and are sighted on both sides of the river. The gigantic tails and heads are best viewed from far inland as you drive down the river towards Greymouth. Another easily identifiable carving is on a seaward bluff at Maunganui in Northland. Sleeping giants of this nature are to be found throughout the world, and many have a place in myth and legend. So whether we are looking at giant of scale or the very small, there are many places to behold in this land. Nature also offers much in the way of wonder. And when we take the time to look and listen, I always find that when I'm out on the land, my trips require different levels of awareness while seeking to unravel the mysteries of the people of the past. I'm constantly reminded of true purpose, and that is to pass through this life, making few ripples on the waters, yet offering all that you have with love to all whom you meet. To move through this world in a state of unconditional love for your fellow beings. And as a helper and a way-seer, I practice intentional healing and am deeply aware of contagious proximity and the way thoughts and emotions are transmitted. Good and bad, your thoughts go out there and are noted. I've revitalized an old practice to keep me aware of how energy fields and fields of influence are so important. The following steps are a meditation on these subtle energies. I will seek out a comfortable place near or among the trees and focus on one frame by the sky, one treetop framed by the sky that draws my attention. My gaze will be fixed on the edge where tree merges with the sky, and my mind will become focused. Within a short space of time, the eye focus on treetop will change to almost go out of focus, and the shape becomes less important than the white band of light that will appear around the foliage. If I blink, it goes, but soon comes back when I concentrate. The secret is to soften the focus of your eyes. The band of light will often change in color, and this technique can also be used on animals and birds, providing they stay still for you for a time. You can also achieve a similar response from people. And of course, don't forget the forest trees and plants. And when you experience these phenomena for the first time, you're overwhelmed by a sense of reassurance. Suddenly, knowing that all energies are connected and respond to each other. Another interesting observation can be found from placing your fingertips together and extending your arms upwards against the sky. Let your focus soften and slowly bring your fingertips apart. Repeat this movement a number of times, using both hands. I'm holding my camera with one hand here. So with a gap of 3 to 4 inches, slowly bring the fingertips together again, and after a short time, you'll see energy appear between the fingertips. So you can while away those few spare moments at any place, at any time, to produce these amazing effects. Another benefit from my travelling has been to draw me back into the smaller and delicate aspects of nature, from the perfection of a flower to the raindrops suspended from the end of a slender branch. I'm in constant state of amazement at the messages to be found within these small wonders. And don't forget the music of the plants as we listen to the song and the music they make. These are things that are constant. And our ancestors were very well aware of all that occurred within and around them. There have been times in human history where matters of this nature became less important and were supplanted by ideals that embraced religion or science or the organization of people into followers of that ideal. We now have an opportunity to recapture that has been denied and put the knowledge to good purpose. To enable a balance to be brought back into our lives. To gather about us some useful tools that will enable our individual journeys to be taken with more comfort and understanding. To be of one heart and remain true to our purpose. To move with grace and love through our dealings with all others. And so, I must end here. I've shared a lot with you today, and I feel that there's a lot more to come. So, dear Facebook friends, I so love you out there, and I look forward to tuning with you again in a few more days with some of my writings. Take care. Love to you all.